Jimmy Kimmel is back, and you might wonder who is Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian and a TV host who hosts Jimmy Kimmel Live in one of the biggest TV show in America. So Jimmy Kimmel is like, because Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian, yeah, he hosts like a comedy show, yeah, in one of the biggest TV platform in America. So Jimmy Kimmel is back, and you might wonder why is back coming from. Jimmy Kimmel is back after his show got cancelled in America, and you might wonder who cancelled his show. Man, it's so crazy. Jimmy Kimmel live show was cancelled after making some remarks about Charlie Kirk's death. Somebody told me that it's not Charlie Kirk, it's Charlie Kirk. I told her I'm not an American. Then leave American things alone. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to leave American things alone. Let me call him Charlie Kirk. Okay, it's Charlie Kirk, because I'm not going to leave American things alone. Yeah, he made some remarks about Charlie Kirk, and after making the remarks on his show, he got cancelled. And you might wonder who cancelled him. You might think it's the people who are cancelling him because of the remarks he made about Charlie Kirk, but you know there have been these speculations whereby right now, if you make any joke about Charlie Kirk, you lose your job. That is in America. I saw some, yeah, in America, and even in South Africa, some whites there, they're like, if any black guy does any joke, not even black guy, who is going to make any joke about Charlie Kirk, is supposed to lose his job. I've seen that happening in the South Africa. Yeah, I've seen some people posting jobs. They have lost their jobs in the US after making some remarks funny of Charlie Kirk's death. So, if you might wonder why Charlie Kirk was cancelled, this is a video which got him cancelled, and it was cancelled by the state. So, you know, it's funny whereby Trump is the president of the United States of America, and I think when he campaigned, he talked that in his coming government, there is going to be freedom of speech. But all of a sudden, this is the first government hearing them cancelling a comedian, because Jimmy Kimmel was cancelled by the states, not people. It was cancelled by the government. This is the first government in the world hearing of them cancelling a comedian. Maybe in South Korea they do that. Maybe Kim does that, but we don't know. No one who has the evidence, because we don't know what happens in South Korea. But in US, this is the first government. Even here in Kenya, this does not happen. Comedians joke many things about the president. Comedians do a lot of jokes. Comedian cancels the government, but the government does not look upon them to cancel them back, because I was so aggressive. But you might wonder why Jimmy Kimmel ended up being cancelled by the state. So let me put for you the video that made Jimmy Kimmel get cancelled by the United States government. And
we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Okay, I hope you have seen the video whereby this Kamzai means an old person, okay? An old person. Yeah, okay, Trump is old. He's late 80s, man. So Trump is asked about Charlie Kirk's death, and then he's like, how, people are mourning Charlie Kirk. People are mourning Charlie Kirk. Then all of a sudden you are asked how your days have been. Then you answer happy. Then you are happy. People are mourning Charlie Kirk. How are you happy? Then you start talking about construction. I don't know what. Crazy. So that's the video that made Jimmy Kimmel get cancelled by the state. But it's crazy. The first time seeing a government cancelling a comedian, even not an activist, because what I've seen most, the government cancels the activists more, even not normal people, activists. Yeah, activists get cancelled by government, but I've never seen a comedian, because even comedians do a lot of jokes about people, and people will not end up cancelling them. Than a rapper can do something just shit and people will cancel them. A musician can do something shit like a footballer and people will end up cancelling them. But if a comedian does the same thing, nobody is going to cancel them, because nobody is going to cancel them. That's why I'm saying this is my first time seeing a government cancelling a comedian, even not a normal person but a comedian. So crazy. So I talked about how some people in the government right in the US, while some employers, and in South Africa, when right now you do a joke about Charlie Kirk's death, you lose your job, right? You lose your job. So I need to ask them like this: what about Trayvon Martin? Trayvon Martin is a teenager who was killed, I think like 15 years ago, at 17 years of age, right? Nobody cared about Trayvon Martin. Nobody. You could see the jokes that the whites were doing about Trayvon Martin. Okay, let's leave alone about Trayvon Martin. Let's talk about George Floyd. George Floyd in 2020. You could see George Floyd was killed by a white police officer. The same as Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin was killed by a teenager, by a white. So George Floyd was killed by a white. Then you could see how the whites behaved. Some of the whites, they mocked his death, but nothing happens to them. But when it comes to because right now Jimmy Kimmel is being cancelled because of the race, not because he's white, but there's some race, the race thing. You are helping, you are trying to help these black people, to make fun of one of us. So we are not going to allow that, and the states, the government of the US right now is not happy, because the whole government expected that the person who could have killed Charlie Kirk was only a black, but not a white. But remember, on my previous video I said that only whites who kill people because of their own opinions. A black person can never kill a person because of his or her opinion. The only way a black person is going to kill you, maybe when he finds you with his wife, a black man is going to kill you. No, and even not you, but the wife mostly. He's going to kill the wife and the kids mostly. But if he gets you also, he's going to kill you also, okay? But a white man is a guy who is going to kill you because of your own opinions. You have seen with Charlie Kirk. The guy who killed Charlie Kirk was a white, and he killed him because of his own opinions. The blacks, although some of the blacks they were not happy with some of his decisions about the color race. They didn't care about him, but a white guy cared about him. He cared about what he said, about the opinions Charlie Kirk used to make, and then he had just to go and buy a gun and then to take off the life of Charlie Kirk. Okay, that's crazy, but I'm still keeping on my point. Jimmy Kimmel being cancelled, a comedian being cancelled by the state. That's funny. That's new to the world. We have never seen that. Yeah, and it's funny how the Republican Party used to promise people the freedom of speech. Now, cancelling Jimmy Kimmel is like denying somebody freedom of speech. The way you promise people on your campaigns you are going to give people freedom of speech. Right now, you are not doing it. You are ending people freedom. You are controlling people freedom of speech. That means that right now there's no freedom of speech in the United States. That's by cancelling Jimmy Kimmel. But thank to God, I just saw Jimmy Kimmel is back. That's why I said Jimmy Kimmel is back when we started. They have returned the Jimmy Kimmel show. So I think that these guys, they ended up apologizing. Jimmy Kimmel, I know back the curtains, they might not know, but they ended up apologizing because somebody like Jimmy Kimmel, when he comes to YouTube and starts a podcast, this guy is going to make millions from the YouTube like crazy. So I feel that the TV station they were like, no, we are not going to lose the amount of money of what we get from this guy. We make a lot of money of this guy, and we cannot accept it to lose it like that. We must go back and see if we can apologize in I think the whole broadcasting channel apologized on behalf of Jimmy Kimmel to the States. Then behind the camera, sorry, can you let our guy back on the TV? Sorry, you get it, because like the money that ABC channel makes from Jimmy Kimmel show is crazy, because right now Jimmy Kimmel will end up going to YouTube and he will make a lot of money after being cancelled. He will make a lot of money than going back there, okay? But it's crazy. Jimmy Kimmel Live is back, but it's still funny. This is the first government seeing it canceling a comedian. Crazy, man. Okay, subscribe. Let's get 100k subscribers before the end of this year.